Good morning from Big Sky Country. I'm Stacy, owner of Montana Used Bricks. And this is another food for thought video, but this time instead of going out to the Facebook group, I am going to be using some of the comments that have come up on some of my videos, and I'd like to answer them and also get your opinion on a couple of them. It's getting a lot harder to come up with weekly videos, so if you have any suggestions on things that you would like to know a little bit more about, or maybe the way I do something, please put it in the comments, because I'm struggling to come up with ideas. So I'm going to read some of the comments. The first one is, "Hi Stacy, I'm a Lego collector who is thinking about opening a Bricklink store. Another Bricklink owner recommended your videos along with some others. I've started with yours and love them." Well, first of all, thank you. And my question is, how do you get so good at spreadsheets? Spreadsheets are my Achilles heel, and I'm fascinated by your expert level with this stuff. Any advice? Thank you. Also, how do you track your cost, especially if you're buying Lego from all over the place? Thanks. So basically, I wanted to focus on the second question, but just to answer the first question, I'm kind of a spreadsheet geek. I love spreadsheets. So I have used spreadsheets basically since I got my first computer and figured out what Excel was. I've also taken a couple of courses through work, and I took a class through the community college. So I do have a little bit of experience with Excel. I don't think I'm an expert at it, because when it comes to macros, I'm totally lost. That's something I would like to learn how to do though. So I did go out and I Googled just to see what was out there. And when I Googled free Excel training or free Excel courses, a lot of stuff popped up. And I do know there's a lot of YouTube videos out there on how to do a lot of stuff. I think if it's something you're interested in, you will find a way to learn about it. So if you're interested in Excel spreadsheets, go just Google it or hit YouTube up. So the second question was about tracking my costs. And I do a really rough estimate on my costs, and I think I've talked about this in some of my sorting videos and some of my Lego haul videos. Is I actually, as I'm sorting through, making sure that everything is Lego and everything is broken apart, I do a really rough count, and I'm talking rough, like I grab a handful and call it 10 or 20 parts. It's just to give me an idea of how many parts are in the box that I just received. I take an average of everything I've bought, and right now I'm at about 2 to 2.5 cents per part on used parts. That's what I plug in to Bricklink as my cost, and that just gives me an idea, again, a very rough idea of how much I'm making profit-wise per part. And like I said, it's all just rough estimate. There's nothing accurate about it in any way. New parts are really easy to do because you know exactly how many parts are in that set, you know how much you paid for it, and it's really easy to figure out your new part cost. It's the bulk lot stuff that is just a very rough estimate of what I'm paying per part. The next one was, I have been sorting stuff and found lots of stickered parts, but all of them are crooked because the kids never put them on right. So not sure if I should just take them off. And we get this a lot. I did a video on whether or not to keep the stickers on. We do, just because as a buyer, I love being able to get those stickered parts in stores, because getting intact sticker sheets is really difficult. For us, generally, if it's way off, usually dirt and stuff has collected underneath it and you can't reposition it, so we take those off. Some of them you're able to peel them off and put them on more level, or put them on correctly, because some are on the wrong side of the part, and you can peel them off and reapply them, and a lot of times they'll continue to stick as though you just put it down. Not always. If they start to kind of curl up, then we just take them off and just sell the part. But I thought that was a pretty good question, and I would be curious what other people do with their stickered parts. The next one had to do with Stockrooms. Thanks for another video. I use my stockroom for audits. One time a year, I will move everything into Stockroom A and go drawer by drawer to verify accuracy. Once an item is verified, it gets removed from Stockroom A. It's tedious, but it helps me a lot. And I gotta say, I absolutely love this idea because it's so hard when you're trying to audit and you're continuing having people buy stuff out of the drawers that you are trying to audit. We do spot audits. We always double check when we're pulling parts to make sure that what we have left is accurate. And there's occasionally where my husband will go through and just pull some drawers or boxes and just make sure the parts are right. We haven't done a full audit. My thing is, it would take us probably a month or more of being closed and working on it 8 hours a day to get through everything and to figure out what is and isn't in our inventory and to find those missing parts that I have put away and forgot to put in the remarks. It would be a good thing that we really do need to do. And I told my husband the other day that once I retire, I'm closing the store down for a month. And then I'm going to go through and do a massive audit. But unfortunately, that's still about 5 years away. So until then, we'll do some spot auditing. But I am definitely going to use this trick because the nice thing is once you start getting through that audit and you start getting some parts into your store, you can open your store back up and you'll be able to sell those parts that you have moved from Stockroom A back into inventory. So I gotta say, I love this suggestion, so thank you for whoever commented on this. The next one is, I close my store a couple of days before I take vacation with a password if they want to order. I'll open it up a couple of days before coming back. Another tip is to raise prices if you are getting too many orders. I raise it 25% when I'm feeling overwhelmed. Aloha. So this is another one of those suggestions I had actually heard about before, but I hadn't really given a lot of thought. But I did a video on feeling burnt out because it was just like I just did not have the time to process orders and do inventory and do my day job. Plus I had some other stuff going on and I was just feeling really burnt out. And it never occurred to me to do this, to raise the cost. If you get sales, great, because you're going to make even more profit, but you're not going to get as many, so you're not going to feel overwhelmed. I meant to copy and paste another comments because somebody had commented on why do some stores have prices way higher than others. And I'm thinking this might be some of that reasoning. They want to sell, but they're not in a place where they can get a lot of orders. And if you have a lot of unique parts, even if you're 25% more, people will still come in and buy those parts. I have a feeling that's why some of those stores do that, where you see all of a sudden the cost goes way up and it's way above the 6-month average and you're like, well, what's going on there? It might be some of that. Also, some of it might just be that that's what they want to sell it for and they're hoping for the best. I would be curious if anybody else has done this where they increase the cost just to kind of limit the number of orders they're getting. Because it's not something I've done, but it's definitely something I will think about for the future. Okay, here's the next one, and this has to do with shipping. Hi Stacy, I'm a used brick seller from Denmark who values your videos and useful content. Again, thank you. I love these kind of comments because it's like, yes, it's worth taking the time to do these videos because there are some weeks it's like, I don't want to do this. So I really enjoy those comments, so thank you. I always see your videos. I have a question regarding large unit, example, plane or boat parts. These are large but does not weigh equivalently as much, so shipping according to weight is often wrong and I lose money on those parts. Can you mark those items so that instant checkout is not viable? Or maybe you know a different solution. Thanks in advance. On this one, everybody has their own way of doing it. For me, anything, and I don't know how it's going to be in Denmark, but here in the US, you have first class and then you have priority mail. I have mine set up that anytime a package weight or dimensions go over the first class mail option and starts to go into the priority mail option, it automatically triggers it as a manual invoice. So I probably lose sales on this because of that, because people are like, oh, I don't want to deal with a manual invoice. But that's the reason I do it, is because a lot of times you will lose money on shipping on some of these larger, bulkier parts. For me, I was also having issues with manuals. For some reason, just a regular instruction manual would kick it to a medium or large priority box, and people are like, I don't want to pay $17 to get this 50-cent manual, and I don't blame them. So that was the reason I basically deselected the priority mail as an instant checkout option. So anything larger than that is a manual invoice, and then I can do the exact shipping for that based on how I package it and what box it fits in. Like I said, I'm not sure how that works in Denmark, but I'm pretty sure you could set it up the same way, that when it gets to a certain weight and dimension, that it'll automatically trigger it as a manual invoice so that you can figure out the shipping costs. Okay, and this last one is just one that I thought was kind of humorous because I've had the same thought. Learning brick stores helped me a lot, especially starting out. I often don't know the proper terms to search for, but narrowing things down to color makes it simpler. Getting used lots is fun for me because I'm always learning. Even though I've been collecting Lego for a while, I still find myself wrong. And when I say, there's no way that's a Lego piece. And when I read this, I started laughing because when I first started, I didn't know anything about Lego. I'm going to be honest. I started playing with Lego in 2014 and opened my shop in 2015. So I was definitely a Lego newbie. And I cringe, absolutely cringe, when I think about all the parts I tossed in the filler box, because it's like, well, that can't possibly be Lego. And I would just toss it. I wouldn't even look for the Lego logo. I wouldn't look for a part number. I would just assume that that's not Lego and throw it. So I'm sure a lot of Bionicle parts got tossed when I first started doing this, along with parts that maybe the logo or the part number wasn't as obvious. Now I know to really scan those parts for those things, and I also have a little container that I keep on the side that I put parts that I'm still not sure and I'm not ready to get rid of. I put them in a container because I've actually had times where I've had pieces in those containers, and as I'm going through and looking for other parts, I'll go, oh my gosh, that is Lego, and I'll be able to go get that part and get it into inventory. And if all else fails, just go ahead and post it in either the Bricklink forums or on the Bricklink Worldwide Buyers and Sellers group on Facebook, a picture of the part, and say, is this Lego? And people will tell you. And I've had people not only tell me that it's not Lego, but they've been able to tell me whether it's K'NEX, Mega Block, or Tyco. So there's people out there that know their bricks. If you ever have any doubt, just post it and people will be able to help you out with that. The forums and the groups have been great for that. That's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments on anything that I've talked about that you think she's really wrong on that, go ahead and put it in the comments below. If you have any suggestions on how to make life easier as a Bricklink seller, put it in the comments below. And again, if you have any ideas for upcoming videos, please, please, please put those in the comments below. And I did want to take a second to thank everybody who has subscribed. I'm now up to 550 subscribers, which I know isn't much, but for such a specialized niche of videos, I feel I'm doing really well, and I really appreciate everybody who has taken the time to subscribe. So if you haven't subscribed and you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Or if you don't feel like doing that, just go ahead and hit that like button. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.